What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and happy Monday. We have some pretty crazy stuff happening in the markets, including what it looks like Bitcoin could be decoupling from the stock market. Gonna be looking into the charts right now. That's gonna be pretty amazing looking right now. Gonna be taking a look into some crucial patterns for altcoins and key indicators for altcoins. Is an altcoin season like you've never seen before coming. Gonna be diving into the charts there. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, you guys should know that I'll be diving into the charts every day, doing a deep dive so we can actually find the moves before they actually happen. Because let's face it, it's a lot less riskier than chasing a pumping green candle. If you guys have chased green candles before, let me know down in the comments how it worked out and what you guys are doing to improve so you guys don't take those kind of risks again, right? Let me know, let the rest of us know, because we've all been there. Now, I will also be taking any TA requests. I'll be choosing one TA request every day for any altcoins, any markets, right? Just leave your comments below, right? And I would choose one and do it every day. So make sure you guys do want to, ask me anything, put it down in the comment section below. I know one subscriber actually asked me yesterday on how to look at the charts for Ondo USD. I'm assuming. I'm going to be doing that at the end of this video, so make sure to stay till the end of the video. I will be doing a live chart analysis for you guys from scratch with Ondo. Okay, now let's take a look into what could be going on for Bitcoin. Hourly time frame. I talked about this yesterday. Okay, we had a symmetrical triangle pattern. Usually breaks in the direction in the direction prior to the formation of the pattern, which was up, right? Price target out of that pattern, if it actually broke out near the tip of the pattern, would be about 88,000. Basically, that's where the price action is. So we can say that, the price target has reached the target. But, it could continue going up, right? Because price targets are only estimates. It gives us a pretty good idea of where price could be going, okay? So basically, it has gone there. So we're going to invalidate this. We're going to, clear this away. And then see what price action could be doing now, okay? We are seeing some weakness and overbought signals on the hourly time frame, but it's nothing that's worrying me at this time, and I'm gonna explain why, right? We're gonna have bearish divergence right now playing out on this hourly time frame. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, right? Let's come over here to the 4-hour time frame. We got 7 minutes until the end of this 4-hour candle. It looks like we're gonna end up with some divergence here as well. So yeah, it could be pulling back even on the 4-hour time frame. So what that means is you're probably gonna see a 4-hour red candle coming up if it ends up with bearish divergence. Okay, not 100%, but more likely than not. Let's come over here to 6-hour. 6-hour time frame. We still got 2 hours left, and if this actually ends up in a divergence scenario where you get a higher or equal high on the price action chart, which we're getting right now, but you get an equal or lower high on the RSI, that is textbook bearish divergence. More likely than not, you're going to see a pullback. Let's come over here on the 12-hour time frame. This is what I do. When things don't look right on the smaller time frames, I zoom out and see where we are still looking bullish, right? Of course, with risk management in consideration, right? And in active strategy in consideration, thinking about where I'm going to be opening and closing positions. But that is for you to develop on your own because everyone's different, right? 12-hour time frame, okay? 12-hour time frame, no divergence. I don't see any divergence possibility at this time because we didn't. I mean, we're still making a higher high right now, right? So 12-hour time frame still looks good, but 6-hour down. Something to be cautious about, right? Probably going to be expecting to see some red candles on the hourly, 4-hour, 6-hour because of what I pointed out. Now on the daily time frame, very important because we're actually hitting the daily 200 SMA here. Now, something pretty amazing that Bitcoin did yesterday was that I pointed out there was bearish divergence on the daily time frame, but it has completely invalidated that. If you guys were with me yesterday, you guys can see that there was a one high here, higher high here, but there was a just an equal high on the RSI. That is textbook bearish divergence. However, it still came out with a green hammer candle there. That's very bullish. Okay, so on this daily time frame, it still looks good, and we are at a crucial indicator here, which is the daily 200. Basically, if the bulls can actually reclaim this level, then by definition, we are still in a bull market. Right now, it's unclear because we're still we have been consolidating within this range around the daily 200. Okay, and if you're below it, then you are in a bear market. However, we have been in this range. That's not too far below it, right? And all the bulls got to do is reclaim this level, get a solid daily candle close above the daily 200 SMA here, which is the orange line here at about 88,000. Okay, now if the bulls are actually able to reclaim this level, the next important level is not far away, which is basically 89,000, and I'm going to tell you why. 3-day time frame, we've talked about this for the past couple of weeks, right? Double bottom pattern now, it's getting very close to that neckline of that double bottom pattern. 89,000. If the bulls are actually able to break out of this pattern, price target is going to be 104,000, give or take. So very important to be paying attention to right now, and Bitcoin is going to be the first thing you need to pay attention to in this crypto market, because if Bitcoin goes down, everything else is going to dump. Okay, you might see some very short-term pumps out of altcoins if Bitcoin dumps, but in the I would say eventually, even in the next couple of days, if Bitcoin continues dumping, you're probably going to see your altcoins dump, and definitely in a longer term. Now let's come over here to stock markets. We are just very quickly, okay? Stock market doing something completely different today. Usually it's a front running signal for Bitcoin, right? But right now, doing something completely different today. Could this be a decoupling from the crypto markets, from Bitcoin? At least for today, it looks like it, and Bitcoin is pulling. It's you know it's actually able to be up on the opposite direction. Okay, that's amazing. Now, I talked about the stock market yesterday. We had a double bottom right here. However, price action just continues downwards. That is not looking good at the moment, because if you actually break down from a bullish reversal pattern like a double bottom, it's just not looking good. But we did, we do still have a pretty good bounce there for the stock market on the RSI. And what I'm saying is because, even if the price action was to make an equal or lower low here on this daily time frame, you're still likely to get a pretty, at least a bounce from bullish divergence on the RSI here. So that is, a way to kind of time the markets, right? It's by looking at the RSI and what's going on in the price action chart. All right, so let's come over here to Ethereum. I pointed out this yesterday. Okay, Ethereum, it is going to follow Bitcoin. Okay, it has been beaten down brutally, right? But however, I did point it out, this falling wedge pattern that has been forming since end of January. You could probably see very similar charts out of Bitcoin total altcoin market cap, right? if Ethereum did break out of this downtrend, okay, and it looks like it's creeping out of this downtrend. So I would definitely be keeping an eye out on this. If this price action actually is able to, continue this breakout, meaning not break back into the pattern, then the price target is going to be about 2,900. Okay, that is, just you take the difference between the top and bottom of the falling wedge and you put it on top of the breakout point, and that will give you the price targets. Okay, so I did point out this yesterday. Ethereum, right? 3-day time frame, bullish divergence, reversal indicators all over this thing, right? So that's something to be paying attention to. Let's come over here to total 3, which is total altcoin market cap excluding Ethereum, and we have a creeper breakout here. Okay, so very similar charts, daily time frame, and you see, price action is basically breaking out of this falling wedge pattern as well. And since it has actually broken out today's candle, the price target is going to be over $1 trillion market cap, and that could do some significant pumps in the altcoin markets, especially the smaller altcoin markets. If you guys have Coinbase, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you guys have seen some pretty crazy pumps in Coinbase yesterday. I've seen quite a bit of these smaller altcoins just jumping up to retest their daily 200 SMAs. If you guys seen that, comment in the section below, right? It's pretty crazy. Okay, I've seen some that's like, it pumped over 100, over 200% in what, a day or two. So basically, that's a pretty crazy pump. Okay, of course I'm not going to be jumping into the pumps, as it's pumping, right? More likely than not, that's not it's too risky. The thing is to find the coins before they actually pump, right? That's just me personally, right? Of course, it's a lot less risky too. Now let's go ahead and jump on to Ondo. Okay, now I've traded this coin before, like in 2024. Let me see if I still have any kind of charts up, right? I would probably say Mexi has like probably the oldest chart of Ondo. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but let's go ahead and do this. Right? Okay, so let's start from scratch here. That's that's probably the best way to do this. Especially when I'm walking someone, over my thought process on how to actually how I actually think about the charts. Right, actually traded this coin back in maybe last year, 2024. I see myself having a little bit of a chart stuff there, right? Trend lines there. Now, first thing I look at is the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame is the first thing I look at, because if you're overbought on the monthly time frame, chances are you're going to be coming down very quickly. Okay, and you guys can verify this by going into altcoins that have a chart back in 2021, or at least an RSI reading back in 2021. You can see that, as soon as some of these altcoins, most of these altcoins, right, there are some exceptions, but most of these altcoins with an RSI charts with the reading on the monthly time frame, once they get into overbought territory, they come back down very quickly. Okay, and they only stay in the overbought territory not for so long. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 months. So that's the first thing I'm looking at. You guys can go ahead and verify this, and you guys should definitely get TradingView, right? I just upgraded my TradingView to a plus plan, but I would recommend at least getting a free plan so you can at least start looking at the charts. I do have a affiliate link in the description below for TradingView. So if you guys are interested, make sure to check it out. I will get a bonus if you guys use my affiliate link. Now let's go ahead And monthly time frame RSI, we're not looking overbought at all. I mean, in fact, we only started having a reading in about 58, a reading of 58. So in terms of a longer term period, it's not looking bad, right? It's not looking risky. Okay. Now come over here to the weekly time frame. This is what I like to do. I go from a bigger time frame and then zoom into a smaller time frame. So weekly time frame, right? We were in overbought territory, right? And you could call this bearish divergence too, right? Comparing this with this, right? Higher highs on the price action chart, almost an equal low high on the RSI. I would still consider this to be bearish divergence, very close, right? Slightly higher, but in my book, that is still bearish divergence, and that did play out, right, for many weeks, right? But what I'm seeing here is we're still seeing a higher low on the chart here. I think it's probably more clear on the monthly time frame that you're still seeing a higher low, which is good, because if you hold higher lows, you would expect a higher high, right? That is just the definition of an uptrend, right? Now, let's see here. So the higher low, so weekly time frame, right? It has basically breached your weekly 21 SMA, your weekly 50 SMA, right? So basically, you're underneath quite a bit of resistance there, right? Let's come back to the monthly time frame. Is the monthly 21 SMA here? No, it's not. All right, so you're underneath some weekly resistance here. So, I mean, how I read that is basically I don't usually expect price action to get back on top of resistances like a moving average on the first try. I mean, it's just this assumption, right, that I'm putting in. I mean, it could, but more likely than not, it's not. Right? So I would expect, maybe at least two tries to get back on top of a resistance. So in this case, what's two tries? Maybe a green candle and followed by a red candle, right? Underneath the resistance, right? And then let's come over here to so it might take some time for Ondo to actually get back on top of a couple of weeks, right? If it was to do it, to get back on top of $1.20, which is the weekly 21 SMA. Come over here to the 3-day time frame. We do have bullish divergence here that's actually playing out, right? It looks like the resistance you're trying to get back on top of would be about $1, right? About $1. I mean, it's kind of, if you guys can see it, it's kind of like a double bottom, right? A little bit of it's a variation of a double bottom. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact equal bottoms, but you can see it. It's like first bottom and second bottom, kind of. You're gonna see variations of different patterns, and this is, in my opinion, a variation of a double bottom. Resistance, I would say it's about $1. So if you can get 3-day candle closes above $1, that will look pretty good. And let's see here. The price target out of this would be about, if you can actually break out of $1, the price target would be about $1.30, right? And you can see what I'm talking about with the moving averages there. You see a green candle, red candle, red candle, green candle. In this case, it actually took more than two tries, two candles to get for it to, as an attempt to try to get back on top of this moving average. To my point earlier. Okay. And let me make a correction here. This could probably be like a cup and handle instead of a double bottom pattern. But it's you have the neckline right and you have the price target pretty much right. That looks like a cup and handle pattern. As you guys see more patterns and chart more patterns, you guys can see that a lot of these patterns, are very similar, right? All right. It looks like I'm actually running out of time for trading view here. let me go ahead and continue this analysis on the next one. I'm sorry I took too long, but thank you very much for watching and have a beautiful day.